Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 54 of Ono Anime, the podcast. It is 8:05 p.m. on Sunday, March 4th, 2018. My name is Mark.
And I'm Patrick.
And we are back after a long hiatus with another one of these episodes. Who knows how long it could be? It's anyone's guess. Could be 15 minutes long. Yeah. Wouldn't everybody love that? Yeah. Maybe people would actually watch it once. Anyways, maybe we might break triple digits on a podcast for once.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
No, that's delusions of grandeur.
You know, I do get surprised whenever I meet somebody. They're just like, yeah, on the podcast you talked about, and I'm like, wait, you listen to the...
Yeah, huh? I have no idea what you're talking about. When that
happens,
I didn't know we still did a podcast.
Right?
I thought we were a exclusively Darling in the Franxx related content YouTube channel.
She looked at her numbers. It is a good feeling when people do that, though. I'm just like, oh, people actually listen.
If you're one of the 13 people that regularly listen to our podcast, thank you for listening. If you're a newcomer, well, you'll see why nobody listens in a couple minutes. Anyways, so yeah, Patrick just got back from Japan.
Yeah, I'm tired and sick, but here I am to... talk about everything I did.
A lot happened while you were away. Kim Kardashian started liking anime.
I want to know if that was her or if it was like Kanye being like, "Hey,
so
do this."
Yeah, I can only believe that it's probably Kanye. I mean, not to diminish the idea that Kim Kardashian somehow just started watching anime by herself.
I mean, it could happen. Britney Spears' kids do it. You know, Michael B. Jordan does it.
But if you think about influence, yeah, that's another thing. Michael B. Jordan was outed.
Yeah,
as the biggest weeb of all time.
Great. I love it.
But I we're talking about the guy that put Akira references in the Stronger video, and he's like had tweets about how like there's no way that Akira isn't better than Spirited Away.
Yeah,
I agree with you, by the way, Kanye. But that's a hot take for you.
That's like
right off the bat.
2010 tweet, man. That was a while ago too.
But yeah, I mean, I would not be surprised if Kanye showed Kim some anime. Although, a new development that just happened today.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing started because she was in Tokyo, and you know, pictures of her got posted of her Tokyo fashion, or she posted it even, and somebody said, you know, she looked like anime with the crazy hair and like the oversized stuff, and she's like, anime was my inspiration.
Yeah.
Comes back a few days later on Instagram and posts a picture of 02 from Darling in the Franxx. It says, "This is my anime inspo."
And like fan art of 02, which is like, I'm just like, man.
You know what would have really got me?
Of all the anime that you could have posted.
If she credited the artist, that would have been crazy.
Yeah. Well, another development that happened while you were away is John Boyega learned to credit fan artists on Twitter.
Did he? I missed that.
He really did. He posted some Pacific Rim Uprising fan art, and someone was like, "Hey, John, you got to credit the artist, buddy." And he was just like, "You're totally right," and like quote tweeted it with the artist.
That
is
just awesome.
Like, good on John Boyega. That's the new thing. 2018. That's Twitter goals, is teaching celebrities to credit fan artists.
Yeah, I did really, really enjoy the discourse at the start of though, because I've always been a proponent of more people liking anime and it getting mainstream is good.
Gatekeeping is useless.
I understand where the people are coming from, because a lot of people did get bullied or at the very least teased about liking anime. I know I had my fair share of that happening, but I don't care. Make it big thing so people don't have to go through that anymore.
Yeah,
it's not something special. Anime is a huge thing, and it's really awesome to see celebrities talking about it.
Yeah, it's gotten to a level. I mean, it's constantly getting to a level that we've never seen. But yeah, Kim Kardashian liking anime, being an anime respecter, it's a new level.
Darling in the Franxx fan art on her Instagram.
That's super weird and crazy.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, strange, but yeah, like tweeting out like. The idea that a celebrity would tweet out not only anime but also like currently airing anime is way crazy. That's super duper wild. But yeah. Speaking of Pacific Rim Uprising,
yeah, that looks cool.
I noticed something. Oh yeah, it's just an anime. It's a live action anime. Yeah. I noticed something today or the other day that made me not very happy. In the trailer, it's teased that Rinko Kikuchi's character comes back for some inspirational speech or something, and they dubbed her over with someone doing an impression of someone from Japan speaking English, but slightly better, so that you
I
can.
didn't even notice.
It's
Why? She was fine in the first one. I don't.
She spoke perfectly good English, but it literally sounds like a white woman doing like a bad Japanese accent.
That's not good. They should.
And you know
better.
what? Yeah, someone's
should know better.
Someone's gonna milkshake duck that trailer pretty soon.
I have a feeling that was one of those like shitty PR squad moves, and
it
if
is.
Guillermo knew that before it came out, he would have been like,
Well, he's also not directing.
he's not doing this
No,
anymore?
he's not directing,
Oh.
and he's also not involved
he's
in
not
any way.
He's not like producing it or nothing.
No, he was
I thought
doing
this was
Shape
his
of Water
baby.
while this was filming.
Shit.
Yeah,
That
that was
sucks.
his thing.
I need to see that.
Yeah, that's nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's fucking crazy.
Oh, manly fish ass. Took 3 years to sculpt.
Fish fucking Abe Sapien. You know, first Hellboy and then Kekai Sensen and now this.
Yeah.
Anyways, so you just got back from Japan, and that's what the first part of our episode is going to be dedicated
actually,
to.
I spent a good part of today going through, and I'm like a smart person who took notes while I was there, which was wholly my intent. I instead spent today going through my pictures and literally going through the Suica card history and trying to piece together what I did which day to put together notes, because I'm just incapable of taking them.
We already have one like week-long trip where all we do is take notes.
Yeah.
You can
fair.
spare yourself from the during part.
So
the rest of the time.
I was there for it was supposed to be 10 nights. It was 11 nights. That was a good bump. I'll get to that later. But the main goals were Wonder Festival and the third Valkyrie Live, Valkyrie Won't Betray You, which is a great name. And don't worry, I was not betrayed. But it wound up being like, by far, like my best trip, bar none, because I met some really cool people, and just every turn I did something new that I didn't expect, or something that I was doing just kind of caught me off guard. First day I got there, settled in. My favorite thing in Japan when I get there is immediately land, get rid of my bags and go partying, because that's how you say screw jet lag. So I landed at like...
It is. Yeah. I can confirm.
Yep.
You're fucked. But
yeah, you're fucked regardless, but if you're going to be tired, you might as well be drunk and tired.
You don't have jet lag, and that is the important part.
Yeah, so I get there, and I'm sure I've talked about Mogra before, but for those of you who don't know,
We've talked about Mogra on this show.
Mogra is a club in Akihabara that specializes in like anime music. Like that's the whole idea. It's an anime club.
Anime music club.
Yeah,
like,
it's a big one.
It's the first and foremost.
I was watching it yesterday on Twitch, and they had 3,000 viewers on Twitch, which is crazy. And awesome.
The amount that their international recognition through Twitch has exploded is pretty impressive.
Which is pretty cool, because the night that I went there, it's called Anisphere. It's a newer show that they're doing. It's once a month, and it's actually made for Japanese fans of anime and for foreigners to mingle. Like that's the whole idea.
You were telling me about
it's
this.
That one. So that was pretty cool. I got there early and was like chatting with the manager and everything. They know me because I'm the guy that brings them hometown craft beer every year. So they like me. They remember Patrick. And I was just hanging out there, and I thought, this is pretty quiet. I was hoping more people would go. So I go downstairs once the music starts, and down there maybe there's like 20, 30 people. I think, this is an all right turnout. I talk to some people, make some friends, and I go upstairs, and holy shit, there's like 90 people in the lounge area. Yeah.
That's a small lounge area too.
Yeah, I had no idea. So that was pretty cool. Chatted with a whole bunch of people up there, and it was like going to like a company mixer almost.
They pump the music from downstairs into the upstairs, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was like it's hard to explain. Like it was a bunch of people just asking like normal questions. Oh, what's your favorite anime? How long are you in Japan for? Yada yada yada. So that was really cool, just to kind of like really mingle with anime fans that really want to. It's Akihabara, while it's it's the anime capital, it's Mecca. Most of the time, people are there to do what they want to do and get out. There's not.
It's head down.
There's not a lot of social activity there. So to be in an area that was literally meant for like foreigners to mingle and really get to talk to Japanese fans, that was really cool. That was a good first day. I think I left it at 3:00 in the morning. Went to sleep, and then did it the next day. Because I'm staying in Akihabara naturally, so the next day obviously was Saturday, and I didn't have anything planned until Sunday, which was One Fest. So I spent the whole day enjoying Akihabara, just going shopping and hitting the arcades and stuff. And then I did Annie's on Index, which is another show of theirs where it's literally just 6 hours of anime music. Like that's the entire thing. That's the entire night. It's not like remixed or anything. It's just the DJ playing music from whichever.
That's one of the coolest
likes.
things about Mogura that maybe not a lot of people know about, and just the general anime scene in Japan, is there are nights where people just, you show up and people just play like just full on anime song, like no remixes, no nothing. They just play it, and it's really fun. It's like hanging out with your friends, and there's a playlist on.
Exactly.
But there's insanely good VJs and DJs doing it.
Yeah, so I don't know how they're able to do it that well, but literally within a second of the song changing, the video, because they have projectors everywhere, I think they have 4 of them, just immediately changes to whatever. So even if you don't recognize what is from immediately, you can look at the projector and be like, oh, this is from that anime I literally haven't thought about since 2007.
Yeah. Their house VJs are insanely good.
Yeah, they're really good. But what's cool about Annie's on Index is they give discounts to people in cosplay. So you get to see a bunch of cosplayers, and there was a girl there, like she was cute enough that I wanted to vomit. Like that was my first reaction. I saw her and I was like, mm. But she
natural
was,
reaction.
Yeah. She was cosplaying a character from Aikatsu, which is there's 2 almost like rival, child idol shows. Aikatsu is one of them. Puripara is the other. Puripara, obviously, I like more than Aikatsu. If you guys have ever heard me talk, you know this. And naturally, I'm wearing Puripara merch. So I see her. I realize who she's cosplaying.
Street Fight.
Yeah, exactly. And she doesn't notice me at all. I'm just a tall white guy. And eventually comes over to me and starts talking shit about Puripara. I'm sitting there and I'm like, is this really happening?
Is this a Japanese girl?
Yeah. I'm like, is Aoi like talking shit about Puripara to me right now? Is this real life? Sure, no, she was drunk as hell. But I see in the background, like her boyfriend is sitting there cracking up, like dying. I'm like, that motherfucker put her up to this. I just looked at him and kind of leered. That was fun, just kind of a nice little interaction. I got to talk shit about Aikatsu back,
That's funny.
And then we had fun, partied for the rest of the night. I left there at like 6:30 in the morning.
They go long in Japan.
It's because the trains.
Yeah.
The show doesn't start until 11, and the last train is at 12:30. You miss that, the trains don't start until 5.
Yeah.
So you party all night.
Yep.
I don't have that excuse because I was literally an 8-minute walk away from where I was staying. But I mean, they're partying. I'm gonna party.
Everybody else is doing it.
So naturally, because I hate myself, it's now 6 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, and this is the weirdest interaction I've ever had in Japan. All right, 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
All right.
So this
buckle
is
in
gonna
for
be
this
crazy.
one.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So at this time, like the streets of Akihabara are empty. The sun's getting ready to rise. It's I guess it was closer to 6 because I had just left, and this is why I didn't get back until sunrise. And there's this man. He stops me, and he's like, "Excuse me, do you know Hatsune Miku?" And he's saying this in like a bad Japanese English accent that I'm not going to try to mimic.
This is a Japanese man.
Yeah, this is a Japanese man, older man, probably 60, and honestly, he looks homeless. So my first thought is, okay, how is asking a foreigner about Hatsune Miku going to turn into asking me for money?
Hatsune Miku partnered with Domino's, and that's what he wants.
Right?
Terrible.
So
terrible.
I'm like,
I'm sorry, everybody.
Like, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I just used all of my money. I literally have like 10 yen in my pocket. Like, what are we going for here? What's going to happen? So I humor him and I reply in Japanese. I'm like, yeah, I know Hatsune Miku. I love Hatsune Miku. And he starts digging into his book bag for this binder. And he's like, can you sit down for a second? I'll sit down with you. I'm like, oh, okay. So he hands me this binder.
I am terrified.
Right? I'm still sitting there. I'm not scared at all. It's Akihabara.
Well,
and
it is Japan.
I've got like 100 pounds on this guy.
Yeah.
If worse comes to worse. But so he hands me this binder, and it's all like anime characters being cosplayed by Miku. And it's all fan art, and it's not drawn by him, so I'm still not sure what's up with that. But I'm flipping through, I'm talking to him about the characters, saying, "Oh, I know this one. This one looks like Space Battleship Yamato." We're just going back and forth, and he's like, "Wow, for a foreigner, you know a lot." I think he said like Kashkoi is what he said, which is just like, that's a weird word to translate, but it's nice. It's like a weird, nice compliment, and he's just kind of like buttering me up, and I'm enjoying it at this point. I'm thinking this is weird as hell, and it's going to make a good story. So I'm flipping through, and I get to the end. He's like, all right, pick your favorite one. And I was like, okay. So I go back, and I find one of her as Madoka, as Goddess Madoka. The bow looked really cool. And he starts taking it out, and I'm like, is he about to give me this like piece of fan art that somebody else drew, like just for like humoring him at like 6 o'clock in the morning? No, that's not the case. That's not the case at all. So he takes it out, and like in between the sheet is like it's like a log, and I see written is dates and places where people were from, and a little message about the drawing in a bunch of different languages. So this turned really cool all of a sudden. So this guy, I'm not going to say harasses, but this guy finds random foreigners who this to. So he, sit there, and I write down. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll write down. I think the bow's really cool. I'm a big fan of Monica. And we talked for a bit more just about like random stuff. I told him I was from Florida, and this was right after the Parkland shooting, and he knew about that. So we talked about that for a minute, and about guns, which, keep in mind, I'm sober now. Like, I immediately sobered up, and it's 6 o'clock in the morning in Akihabara, and we're sitting like on a little railing that's 2 feet high. Like, it's this weird thing. And eventually he says, hey, can I take more of your time? And I'm thinking, One Fez opens at 10. It's 6 o'clock. I need to go to sleep. It's also below freezing at this point, and I'm dying.
Yeah.
And he's just like, can you write me a story? And I was like, huh? He's like, just write like a paragraph in Japanese. Just like, well, what's your favorite genre of story? I'm like, it's sci-fi. He's like, yeah, just write a sci-fi story. I'm like, we've been talking for 20 minutes. You know that my Japanese isn't that good. Like, you want me to write a story? He's just like, we'll do it the best we can. We'll work together. And I'm like, I'm flattered, but dude, I really gotta go. And he's like, no, write the story. And at this point, I'm just like, okay, now this is really weird. Eventually, I just had to stand up and say, sorry, man, I got a place I need to be. I need to go to sleep. So that was like a almost 40-minute long
What
thing.
the fuck?
Like, I still don't know what that was about.
Where was that
cool.
going?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry that there was no point to that story, but I couldn't not tell it.
I mean, I don't blame you for getting the fuck. I mean, I would.
It was interesting though. Like, I never once felt threatened. In my mind, it was just like, okay, how does this turn into him asking for money?
Or worse.
I feel bad for thinking that, but I mean, in the States, that's
it's like, you like Monica. Now you're gonna dress up as Monica.
Right?
I'm gonna fuck you.
I would have. No, it was. It was interesting.
That seems interesting.
Yeah, it was like, I'm glad it happened, because what a story. But I don't know, man.
Yeah. What is that guy's goal?
I don't know.
The log thing is cool. The story thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on
starts
there.
to get weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting, and just, at the end of the day, it was another way to talk with what was obviously a fan of anime over there.
Yeah.
An older one, and maybe a screw loose or two, but that was a weird, genuine, thing we had. It was nice.
Cool.
And then I woke up about 2 hours later and went to One Fez.
Yeah.
One Fez, for those of you who don't know, is short for Wonder Festival. It's a twice-a-year convention, originally just for garage kit creators, but these days for corporate figurine makers as well, where they get together at the Makuhari Messe, which is about, 35-40 minutes from Tokyo by train?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. I think it's probably longer than that, but
yeah, so it's a one-day event. It goes from like 10 to 4, I think, and half of it is the corporate side, and the other half, probably the bigger half.
We talked about this a lot because we went there
time.
when we started our YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, God, I guess that was right then.
Yeah.
God, I forgot that we started on that trip. But
literally the day before we left.
Yeah. So that was neat, but if you're really into like figurines and you aren't into garage kits, One Fez is definitely best experienced online. Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing about Wonder Festival in general, is most people that collect anime figures know about it because it is the 2 times a year. Is it 2 or 3?
It's 2.
It's the 2 times of year when all of the prototype figures get released, or all the prototype photos get released, and you get to see basically what the upcoming lineup for the next 6 months is for, Good Smile and Kotobuki, and basically everybody that makes figures. But yeah, no, I can agree. Having also been to Wonder Festival, it is a fun thing to do once, I think.
I don't think I'm going to go back. I'm most certainly not going to plan a trip around it. However, I will say the private side, the fan side.
The one thing that it is good, you're going to get to the other thing. The one thing that was really good for me is just random merchandise. It's fantastic for, because Cospa has a booth, so you can actually be there and like pick up. Yeah,
where I got this Kizuna Eye shirt. Yeah, which I love.
Cospa has a big booth there.
You got your Gundam bag there, didn't you?
Yeah, I did get my Gundam bag there. I got a lot of stuff there because it's very easy to just pick and choose and buy stuff.
It was the only place that had Darling in the Franxx merchandise because it's all pre-sale. Because that stuff isn't coming out until the first Blu-ray starts getting
and they're moving really fucking fast with all that stuff too. I think there was 4 figure prototypes that I saw from that show this year.
Yeah, there were mugs and T-shirts and the whole deal. I bought a mug.
They're going quick.
Yeah,
they're smart because it is going to make a lot of money probably.
But the other half, was and always is a lot more interesting because it's the hobby side, and in the States you don't get to see the hobby side of figurine making, and there are hundreds, probably closer to 1,000 tables just lined up and down in this massive hall of everything you could possibly ever imagine. Just handmade figures, and you buy the garage kits and you paint them. Yeah, everything. Like there's
including like original stuff.
Yeah, the original stuff is some of the coolest stuff. Yeah. But you see all sorts of skill levels. Like you see stuff that honestly it looks like a 6-year-old could have done it, and you see things that look professional, and oftentimes they get picked up by professional companies to have a mold made.
Yeah.
The first Satsuki and Ryuko scales were originally garage kits.
Yeah. There's multiple Kill Kill figures that were garage kits originally.
It's a lot of fun to go up and down and talk with creators and just kind of nerd out, because by the time I got there, because I hit the corporate side first, pretty much all the good ones were sold out.
Yeah.
But it's really cool to like take a picture of something and the creator, sees it and it's like, oh, you like this character? Yeah, I love this character. You did such a good job with it. It's fun, Yeah. It's neat. It's a good back and forth.
Yeah, you get to see some shit in there that you will literally see nowhere else.
Yeah, there's also the corporate side has a bunch of really, really cool announcements and like new stuff. The thing that I like the most, and if you follow me on Twitter, you probably saw me freaking the fuck out about them, is they're coming out with the Terra-sized Nesoberries. Nesoberries are the plushies that are like super hot right now, where it's the characters like laying down with the chibi face, and the Terra ones are 1 meter long. And they're starting with Love Live Sunshine characters, and so they're this freaking big, and I want all of them. They look so good. So they had those. They had this amazing Devilman statue. Like you can't call it a figure.
That's an Aniplex Plus thing.
Yeah, the thing, I think it was like $2,500 for it. It glows in the dark. Like look up pictures of it.
It's crazy.
Words cannot do it justice, and I tell you what, pictures won't either. Like I'm glad I got to see that in real life, because nobody I know is buying it.
It's fucking wild.
Yeah. Also, Good Smile Company has a big stage where every like 30, 45 minutes they bring out anime creators. I know they live stream it too. I watched a lot of Kill la Kill stuff on that stage, but that's actually where the second season of Danmachi was announced. I wasn't there for it, but retroactively, that's where it happened.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. And I think I noticed, this has less to do with One Fez, but on the way out is there are a lot of street performers in Makuhari.
Really?
Like, yeah, exactly. Huh. We didn't catch that.
Yeah, we didn't see
time,
any. But we got out of there pretty late too. Yeah. We got out of there basically as the sun was going down.
We went and grabbed food too.
Yeah,
which I
but even
do.
By the time we had left, the sun was basically like already going to, because we were also there in like the dead of winter. Yeah. Not that you weren't, but still.
But no, there was a foreigner named Paul that was doing magic tricks on top of a very tall unicycle. Which was really interesting.
That's cool.
I took a video of that, and then there was like a real life like street performing idol just trying to like busk and sell CDs, and she's really sweet. She was cool. Sat there and I watched her for a bit, and honestly I wanted to buy a CD, but I also really wanted to get back. I was freezing and hungry, so I actually like sent her a message on Twitter after. I was just like, hey, I actually really wanted to buy one of your CDs. I was a foreigner that was there, and she actually replied and was like, oh, thanks so much for your support. Just like really cool to have that actual like street level interaction. It was neat.
Yeah, it's something you see a lot in like street level idol performance. Is something you see a lot in Akiba, but it's interesting to see in other places. I sure as hell didn't when I was there.
Yeah, no, it's just an idol trying to make it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's cute, and she was good.
I wonder if that's a thing that has like happened recently. Is street performers in Makuhari?
I have no idea. Like I'm sure they were there because there was an event, because it wasn't just One Fez.
That's how it is here too.
There was some like children's event going on, because there's the Makuhari Messe, which is where like the big concerts like Countdown, big things like One Fez are held, and then there's something called like the International Hall that's like across the bridge.
There's
from
so
it.
much shit like
Yeah.
in that one area, like
It's like,
hotels. and
imagine an
conventions.
entire city being a convention center.
Yeah.
That's
well,
Makuhari.
the thing that it reminds me of is it's very similar to the area where AWA is held in Atlanta. It's
Yeah.
just all that crazy development that's like 30 minutes north of Atlanta in Cobb County. Like it's very similar. It's just its own kind of
Yeah, it's funny you say that
commercial
because
business district.
There's a baseball stadium right there too.
Yeah, that's the Chiba Latte Marines, baby.
Why did I know that you would know who it was?
Because
Yeah.
we were standing next to that fucking stadium for like an hour while we were waiting
the
in line.
Yeah. Well,
And I was like, I want to go to a game, baby. But it
Yeah.
was February.
so that was like the second full day I was there. So next Monday I went and saw the Macross Delta movie. So that
Which
was
I totally did not know was a thing until you said that you had seen it.
yeah, no, it's a thing, and it was awesome because right before I got there, the new album came out. You know, it had a few new tracks, and those of course tied into the movie, which of course tied into the show. I'll get to the show later, but it was a hot mess in the best way.
Oh boy.
Like I didn't expect it to be good, and like as a Macross and as a Valkyrie fan, I really enjoyed it. But if you aren't a fan going in, you won't. Like I can look at it critically and say this was a bad movie. I
Here's
loved the
thing,
hell
though,
out of it,
is
but it was a
like,
bad movie.
Man, there's so many movies like that.
Yeah, that's most anime movies that aren't original. I don't
It's
know why
just-
like
they're-
almost every original anime movie is so good, but all the ones based on an already done series
They're
are
just
just
100% fan service bullshit most of the time. And
Yeah.
that's fine because that's what people want.
It was like a slight like reworking of the story to fit, an hour and a half with fitting like it was a music video.
It was a recap.
Sort
kind
of. They did enough differently that I wouldn't consider it
Huh.
a recap. But it was, as a hype machine because I hadn't heard the new music yet really. I went through it once and
Yeah.
to get ready for the concert, it was great. It was a great vehicle for that.
Huh.
And if you like the music, you'll like the movie because I think they
Oh.
had like 12 Valkyrie songs in there.
Yeah.
That
well,
was pretty cool.
yeah, I can't say I'm too surprised hearing that, but
Yeah, it was fun. And
My-
it wasn't the last time I saw that movie there, so
my initial and still remaining impressions of Delta, because I haven't seen it yet, are that it was a giant, beautiful, hot mess. But
I heard the best explanation of this is specifically Delta, but really fits Macross as a whole, and I think she meant it as that. Celia, I got to her later as well, actually said, like, imagine Disney did a mecha thing. Motherfucker, that's Macross.
yeah, basically,
Like, she's not wrong, and that's why I love the series so much, and
Yeah.
it's really that.
Macross Plus is really the Marvel TV series of that.
Man, I've been rewatching 7 since I got home too, and I love it.
I've
I
had
just
to
love Macross
dig
so
through
much.
a lot of Macross Frontier in my time making this Yoko Kanno video.
Mm-hmm.
And,
No, Frontier is great. Frontier is what got me into it.
It has a look.
Yeah.
It's got a look.
Anyway, so that was really all I did on Monday because I was so dead tired. Because think about it, I got there, I partied. The next day, I was on my feet all day because I was shopping, and then I partied until 6. I slept for 2 hours, and then I went to One Fez where I'm on my feet again. So the next day was really a
rough.
rest day. So I caught the movie at 9 o'clock. If you guys remember last time, like I love seeing movies in Japan. I go and see them all the time, but it kind of sucks because there's no movie theaters near Akihabara, and it was really kind of like I would pick a movie that I wanted to see, find a theater showing it. This was the last trip and the previous trip, and like base my day around things to do around that theater. Well, now there's a Toho Cinemas, which is by far the best chain over there, in my opinion. Ueno, which is like, if you're walking on the main drag from Akihabara, it's 10 minutes away from the station, and you just keep going, and it's right there on the right. So that's where I saw all the movies except for one this trip, which was great because I could wake up, catch a 9 o'clock movie, and go on with my day, which was really, really nice. But yeah, that Monday I saw that movie and I just walked through Akihabara. I did see a Yorimo exhibit in an anime. They had like one half of the. You remember how anime it has like 8 floors and then there's like a back half and a front half.
Yeah.
One half of it was like a Yorimo, the Antarctica Girls show like exhibit, which was really cool. It had the stands. It had some storyboards, some layouts.
I don't remember there being an exhibit when we went there.
There sure wasn't.
Huh.
Yeah,
I didn't even know they did that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I knew that Anime in Ikebukuro did, and I saw a pre-par.
I sure
thing
fucking
there
do.
earlier.
Well, the one in Ikebukuro also has the crazy cafe.
Yeah, that's the headquarters. That's the flagship.
Shocking that it would be in Ikebukuro.
Yeah. The next day was more like regular tourism stuff. I went to Harajuku. You know, gotta go.
Gotta do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I went there mostly for.
Not
Prism
gonna buy
Stone.
anything.
Yeah, La Forêt is kind of
Learn
expensive.
that. Yeah, I learned that lesson pretty.
But so I went to Harajuku, and I went to, of course, Prism Stone, the like flagship pre-par place, because pre-par is actually like ending. Like there's going to be no more soon, so I had to go there and
I didn't know
get
that.
merch.
That's
And
crazy.
I bought literally like everything that fit me, which was 3 shirts.
That's fucking crazy that it's ending.
Pre-par and Aikatsu are at the same time. Like while I was there,
Is there a specific reason why they're ending? Like
they're
creative juices run
rebranding.
dry?
Nah, they're rebranding as something completely different. Like it's still got like some of the same creators, and it'll probably be in the same universe, but it's like it's done. They rebranded recently as Idle Time Pre-par, and it was like a last ditch effort. It didn't work really well, so they're restarting from scratch. And Aikatsu is actually like they're done as well. The day after I left, Aikatsu had their final concert. Like all the singers ever in the series got together for a concert.
That's crazy.
Had I known that, I would have stayed an extra day. I just completely missed that. So I'm sitting there on the tarmac reading as all my friends are like lining up. I'm just like, no. But so I went to that store. That was nice. Then I went to Odaiba to go see the unicorn.
Oh, right. That's a thing.
Boy,
now.
that is really cool.
Yeah.
Like it looks so much better than the RX-78 too. Like,
Have
it seems
they
taller.
changed anything about the presentation that is surrounding the unicorn?
Actually, so when I got there,
Does that like transform and shit?
it transforms.
That's fucking cool.
So I got there when it was still daylight, and they don't do anything, but there's actually a timetable now right next to it where they have, not only do they have like a little like show to go with it where they set it to music, they have different ones. The one I saw was they just play it to the original Gundam theme, which is pretty awesome, and it's just like a short like 30-second one. But they have one, unfortunately, that I wasn't able to see, like based on Sawano's music, because Unicorn, and there's a third one as well. But they completely redid the inside too. You remember
Diver City?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So Diver City is a massive mall, but the 8th floor is known as the Gundam Front Odaiba.
Yeah.
And before it
Home
was
of what is Strict G.
Yeah, exactly.
The greatest
Home of
fashion
Strict
line
G.
known to man.
Yeah, but before it was like it's like a narrow area that you go through where you see all the like Gundam Builders stuff, and then there's like a dome theater that you could stand in.
Yeah, they have like world championship Gunpla exhibits,
which is really cool. If you don't even need to be you don't even need to be into it to enjoy that. Just like the craftsmanship,
it's
is
cool as shit,
incredible level. But they completely did away with that. Now it's like an open area. Like the whole thing is one big area. Like Strict G is off to one side.
Oh wow,
it's so much cooler. Like half of it is now a like mini museum dedicated to the process of designing and building the kits and mass production, which was really, really cool.
That's cool.
And all the plaques are in English as well. They have like a scale, like a diorama of the thing where you can like hit a button and like that part of it lights up and it tells you what they do in that part.
Damn.
So that's really cool. And if they have a live stage where they do the Nico Nama broadcasts, where they didn't have anybody there obviously, but they had that. They have a place where you can go in and build the Gunpla that you just did with people like experts to help you. It's really cool now. Before it was just like, oh, I'll go there for 10 minutes and see what it is, maybe see the theater, but you can easily kill an hour plus walking around now.
That's awesome.
That was really neat.
Diver City's cool. That's another must see if you're in Japan.
The transformation is really cool though. First of all, it's bigger. I'm pretty sure the Unicorn has a solid like 10 feet on the RX-78 too they had there. And while it's not like a crazy transformation, all the panels pop out, and you know the horns go from the Unicorn back and forth.
That's cool.
The whole face mask like comes out, does itself. A bunch of the panels like light out, steam comes out. It's really neat. Like if you're around there at nightfall, they do a show like every like half an hour, I think it is.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I wish we weren't talking about this because now I want to go to Japan really fucking bad.
I'll be back again next year, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So the next day was a big day, and I have to thank Twitter user Dogrunes for this. He's an employee at Faku and a pretty decent friend of mine. It was
friend of the show.
Yeah. He like, I'm not sure if he was joking or if he was being completely honest, but I carried through with it. He tweeted me when he saw that I was going there. He said, go to Numazu and write Aqua in the sand. And I had thought about, doing a little pilgrimage out there, but had never really entertained the option until he had sent that. And I said, you know what? Yeah, I have a bunch of days where I don't have anything planned. I can take a little pilgrimage, and God, it was worth it. Like, I say pilgrimage because that's just like what everybody calls it, but it felt kind of like a sacred, like holy trip once I was out there. It was a lot more emotional than I expected. So Numazu and Uchiura are the location for Love Live Sunshine, and it's not close to Tokyo. Like it's a trip. It's about it's a little over 2 hours by train, and that's taking the limited express. On the way back it's closer to 3, and then you have to take a bus to Uchiura. But the way the show is set up, it's really interesting because there's 3 locales where everything happens, and they're kind of split evenly by the years of the girls in the show. So Numazu itself is where all the first year scenes happen. That's where you get off the train. That's like a city area. I didn't do much there. There was a little cafe as soon as you get off, and a little place where you can buy noppo bread, which is something that you see Hanamaru eating like all the time. Happy birthday, by the way, Hanamaru. That's today.
Of course.
But
naturally.
So there's that. I went and saw Yohane's apartment, which is really cool. It's awesome to like walk around and see this. And then like Uchiura is where all the second year scenes are. So like the school is technically there. The beach where they write Aqua in the sand is there. And then Awashima is the island where all the third year scenes are, where Mari's house/hotel is. And that like the whole area is really tiny. Like it's amazing how small it is, but it was amazing to me how much about Love Live all 3 of those areas were. Like I knew it was like a tourism thing, and I knew they bit into it. I had seen pictures of the buses and stuff, but no, it's not so much Numazu, but for Uchiura and Awashima, it is the lifeblood of those cities. Like those places are dead without Love Live.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
scary.
It's it's one of the traits really that is unique to Japan, is this whole sort of community rallying around a thing that could bring prosperity to everyone. And obviously, I'm sure every cafe owner and convenience store worker and bakery
they all know.
baker, butcher, everyone was probably like freaking out hearing that Love Live, of all things, like the biggest anime fucking ever, is going to be set. The next one is going to be set in their small little town. So
it worked.
I'm sure it brings them a lot of business.
Man,
especially in the summer.
I was there. Keep in mind, this is winter, so the weather's shitty. It's like it's overcast. It had hailed the day before. There was it was just wet, drizzly the whole day, and it's a Wednesday in the middle of the day, and there's pilgrimage. There's pilgrims everywhere.
Yeah,
I get on the bus because it's about 30 minutes from Numazu to Uchiura by bus, and it's a tiny bus. It seats maybe 15 people. There's like 3 or 4 people over 60 on the bus, and everybody else, and it's a full bus, is obviously there for Love Live. Like either they got the bags and everything, they look nerdy. Like one dude had pen lights in his hands, like ready to go. I don't know what he was gonna do. But like it was amazing to me because I expected to see like 1 or 2 other people given the time, but no. And it's like, that's a Wednesday. I can't imagine on a weekend. And the city makes it so easy. Like you get off the train and there's already ads for it. But like I'm sitting there, I'm looking at the directions that I've looked up online because people have done this pilgrimage before. They're just like, oh, find this bus, and it's got the name of the bus. And the bus stop has like 8 different buses. I'm just like, oh God, which one is it? And the pillar where they have like the stops and everything, the Love Live one says, "Get here if you're doing the Love Live thing." And it's even like with the second years for if you want to go there, 3rd years if you want to go to Awashima, which was really really useful, and it was special. The craziest thing that happened though was I got off at the Mito Sea Paradise. I think that's the name of it. It's an aquarium. And I was walking over to the Mito Beach, which is where they write Aqua in the sand. And right across from it is the Yasudaya Inn, where Chica lives. And actually, I didn't know this was a pretty popular tourist space to begin with because Osamu Dazai loved to stay there, and he had his own room with like his books and stuff that they've kept. Obviously, it's his room. You can't do it. But
really interesting.
So it was popular beforehand because of that, and it's just an old school Japanese ryokan. So there's that, and then literally right across from it is the beach with the pier and everything that I'm gonna start choking up like before I even get to the story, where everything happens really. Where we go sitting on the pier, Chica jumps in, whole deal, and I get there and there's one other person on the beach, and I think, oh, it's and obviously people have gotten off the bus before me to walk up and down. I think, oh, it's another pilgrimer, cool. And it's a tiny beach. Like the thing is maybe 150 feet across, like at most. And you see the pier, you see Awashima off in the distance, and it's spitting image, obviously. Like I know where I am. And it's so weird. I know I've said this before, to experience nostalgia for a place you've never been.
Yeah.
But seeing it like that, it just hits you like a ton of bricks. And I immediately just like slow down to a crawl as I'm walking towards it. I'm like, holy shit, I break out in goosebumps. And then I look at the sand, and Aqua is written like at least 6 times already. It's noon on a Wednesday. So I'm sitting there. I start just like quietly crying a bit, like, holy shit, I'm here. This is it. This is where Love, Life, Sunshine happened. And not the same guy, somebody else comes up behind me, a Japanese fellow, and hands me a stick and just kind of like gestures at the sand. I'm just like, oh my God, idols are insane. Like it took me out of the moment. I had to sit there and think, I'm here from the US to go see this thing that a cartoon did. And at least 6 other people have been here before me today, a random Wednesday. How many hundreds, how many thousands of people have come here to this city that is in the middle of bumfuck nowhere? And honestly, there's nothing to do there either. Like there's a reason it's not doing so well. And like it was incredible. So of course I had to write Aqua in the sand. I sat there and I ate my little like pork cutlet sandwich I had from 7-Eleven there. And while I'm there for maybe 20 minutes, I see people of at least like 6 different nationalities go through and do the same thing. Just walk through, take the scene in. Some of them cry like me. Other ones, sitting there laughing, enjoying it. I saw like a Frenchman. I saw a few Chinese people. Saw Englishmen. Like it was nuts. Idols are fucking insane.
They are.
Like the fact that they could do that was just like, holy shit. So it was like honestly a pilgrimage. I was not expecting to be that emotionally destroyed by visiting Uchiura. I'm very, very, very glad I did that.
Cool. Yeah. I definitely know what you're talking about with that feeling of nostalgia for a place that you've never been. I mean, it can happen all the time when you're in a country that is filled with memorable places that you see all the time in these shows. So
it was nuts.
Yeah.
Final note for that day though is the stop I got off at was Mirosi Paradise, and that's actually the name of the aquarium that the music video Koninaritai Aquarium happens at. The one where Yo is the center, and it's where Uchichi, the walrus mascot, comes from. And I went there, and man, let me tell you, if you thought U.S. aquariums were
depressing,
kind of depressing, boy, we got nothing on Japan. That was not good. I felt so bad for all those animals. I felt bad enough. Like, I love Live, but I wish I hadn't spent money coming in here. It was bad. They had a dolphin show. It was the saddest thing I've ever seen. It was not good. But hey, even then, it was filled with Live stuff.
The Japanese and dolphins, not the best relationship.
No, it was bad. I'm not going to go into specifics, but it was.
Yeah, we don't need to dwell on that here.
Real depressing.
Anyways,
cool merch though. I wish I was kidding.
That's what counts.
Cool love.
Gotta have the cool merch.
Yeah, that was my pilgrimage. That was my Wednesday.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we've been talking for 45 minutes. So
I got more.
Let's keep going.
So Thursday was a bit of a Ikebukuro Shinjuku day. Ikebukuro is where Otome Road is. That's where all the gay shit is. No, that's where
it is though.
It is. It's where all the BL stuff is.
Yeah.
And I didn't do too much there. I went to the anime, and I was looking for some specific BL books, which I found.
It's
eventually.
it's a fun place to go.
But
even if you don't have a
neat.
specific aim, it's a cool place.
But the one thing that's changed since you were there specifically is there's Osomatsu stuff everywhere. Every store, everything. Like There's a churro stand with the Osamatsu siblings eating churros. There's a takoyaki place with everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a wonder.
Oh, the days when Durarara was the most popular Ikebukuro thing.
Right. I did do a little Durarara watch in there. That was interesting. I saw that was the one day that I went to a movie theater that wasn't in Ueno, and that was to see Großen Panzer das Finale Part 1, which you would like the characters.
There's another one?
Yeah, there's another Großen Panzer movie, Part 1 of 3. It's Part 1 of 3 of the finale.
Jesus Christ. I thought there already was a finale.
Nope. You would like this one because they introduce a new like subunit for the main school's team, and they're all like Sukeban girls that talk like Yankees and look like them, and their tank, they do it up like a pirate ship. Like they have a mast, the whole thing. They drink like they're drunk on the ship. That's funny. Amazing. And on top of that, the opponent team is French. So they finally introduced the Frenchies, and they had them sing. What was it? La Chanson de l'Union, I think was the French song that they did. And it was one of those short like OVA things, like a 45-minute deal, but it was a lot of fun. And that's the only movie I've ever been to in Japan where I heard the theater laugh.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah. No, it was funny. That was a good time. I finished off that day by going to the ReZero Cafe, which was interesting.
That's a thing?
Yeah, it was one of those collab cafes. That was another thing. ReZero is super popular there still. I thought, like, I knew it was popular, but I thought it was going to be one of those seasonal things. No, Ramen Ram are fucking everywhere.
When an anime is really popular in Japan, it has a way longer tail than it does here in terms of... I mean, but also it's easier to perceive the popularity of an anime in Japan because, like, anime is literally everywhere there, whereas it is still a very niche. Like, you don't just see it out on the street here, you know?
Unless you're in Little Tokyo in LA. I miss it. But yeah, so there was that cafe, and it's really a small thing. It was on like the 9th floor of one of the Sega arcades in Akihabara, and I had the Ramen Ram burger, which it was just like regular food with pink and blue buns.
Yeah,
which was interesting.
That looked unappetizing.
It was actually super tasty. Not enough food, but funny thing there is you get coasters with girls on them, and it's random which one you get. And this poor guy next to me, I don't know what character he was going for, but I sit down. He has no less than 10 cups of tea just sitting there. And I'm sitting there like, I don't know if they've been cleaned off before. I don't know if there's a limit, but he's on his 11th and he still doesn't have the coaster. And he looks very upset.
This guy's like an actual anime otaku, like from an anime.
Yeah. I am doing my damnedest to not laugh. I feel bad for the guy, and like I get it. You got your waifu, you want the coaster, but man, there's no way you don't gotta pee real bad. Like, come back another day. The thing's open for another couple weeks. But the worst part is, you think about that. Those cups of teas were $10. That motherfucker just spent at least $100 trying to get a coaster of his dang ReZero waifu.
Cup of tea was $10.
Welcome to collab cafes.
That is a fucking lot of money.
Yeah, that guy.
Especially for Japan, where food is like dirt fucking cheap.
No, it was. They were big.
If
cups
it's
of
Japanese
tea.
food,
I think it was like fancy tea too. It wasn't shitty tea. I don't know. I didn't get one.
I couldn't drink 10 cups of tea. Period.
I could
barely get through one cup of tea.
Obviously, aren't dedicated enough to whoever your wife is.
Well, hey, you've seen those Concole pillows I won out of the machines.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot that the bag on those. I'm not sure if they still do, but they used to say you got it because you didn't give up. That's what that guy was going for.
That was still one of the strangest. That was maybe the strangest interaction I had while I was in Japan, because nobody told me that they come out of nowhere at you with a bag, and it didn't happen the first time I got it. It was like super late, like right before it was both times at the Don Quixote one in Akiba. The second time I won one, I like go up to Jose and Patrick, and I'm just like, guys, look, and it was like 5 minutes, and we were like walking around, and then this guy like comes up and just like holds out a bag, and I was just like, and I like look in, and I'm like, what is happening? And then he like gently guides the pillow in and like ties it up and bows, and I was like, oh, I see what's happening. I was like, boy, I sure wish somebody told me that was gonna happen.
I would have, except I've never won anything from one.
Well, the pillows were literally the only thing I could have possibly won.
I'm so bad.
The worst thing was they had a contact collection is fucking everywhere in UFO catchers and stuff, but they had a crane machine where you could win a Nagato prize figure, and then you win her guns as a separate item. And so I was like, what if I just win the guns? Like, how shitty is that?
Yes.
I always think of that Vine of someone at the UFO catcher trying to get that Izaya figure, and it just or the Oikawa figure from Haikyuu, and it just pulls his head off.
Pops off. I love that. Oh, that's so
fucking
good.
Great.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so that was my Thursday. We're getting into the meat of it now. We're almost there. So Friday was the day before the concert, so I didn't want to go too hard. I honestly don't even remember what I did most of the day on Friday, but later that night I met up with a friend that I actually made through being a fan of the IGN anime podcast. They have a Facebook page called IGN Anime Club, I think was the name of the page.
Do they still do that?
They actually, so it's gotten, this is an aside. It's gotten pretty overrun because they stopped doing the podcast. They just didn't have time because all of them are like editors now. They all got promoted pretty much. And they were still trying to moderate the group, and it's just gotten so overrun that they, one, don't have time to moderate it enough, and two, the group itself, just content-wise, has gotten so bad that they're being forced to remove the IGN branding from it. And so they're now promoting, it's actually a big thing that happened like this week. They're promoting people within the community to be like moderators in their stead and removing the IGN branding from it.
Damn.
So anyway, I met a friend from that group
so ends
over
that.
there. Yeah. Just now I would consider her a good friend of mine. We hung out a lot over the weekend, and we met because Macross, pretty much. Her name's Celia Rose on Facebook, if you want to look her up, or Planets Twinkle on Twitter, and she is on a podcast of her own called The Reanimated Podcast. Super cool person. But we met up, and we went to a place where next time we're both there, we need to go there. It's a restaurant in Shinjuku called Robokichi, which literally means robot base. And you walk in and you have to go through like a sliding airlock door. And it's a restaurant that is just a mecha fan's paradise. Like it's got, and like artists eat there too. There's like signed stuff from literally every mecha show you could ever imagine, from like Mazen Kaiser to Macross to like Daiguard, or what was like Riding was there, and like it was it's crazy. And of course we were there because there was a Macross Delta collab going on, so we had to do that. They have a few screens going on that are just playing like famous scenes from old mecha shows.
Here's a question, somewhat related to this: is Macross considered a mecha show?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I put that
because,
that in a Twitter thing.
Because
I wanted to make sure that I was
think about the actual Macross itself, Macross 1.
Yeah, the first one totally. But I mean,
I'm saying
I know
the actual like robot.
Oh yeah, but even the planes turned into fucking.
Yeah.
Even the Valkyries. Turned
the Valkyries
into
transform.
robots.
Yeah,
that's like always a
definitely
thing, right?
Yeah. That's always a thing. The Valkyries always do. So that was really cool. That was pretty much the end of the day there. Went back, and then Saturday was the concert. Saturday, I was not betrayed. So we actually got up early and saw the movie again because she hadn't seen it yet, and I wanted to see it again to get hype, and definitely got hyped. We went out to Shin Yokohama because Yokohama Arena is not in Yokohama. Learned that the hard way the first time. It's in Shin Yokohama, which is like one extra stop, so it's not bad. But we met up with a bunch of her friends that are all big Macross fans, and in fact, some of them are the ones that run what is now called Super Dimension Con in the States, the only Macross convention, really. A bunch of really, really cool
Those
people.
brave souls.
Yeah. So they actually,
it's like running an oasis in a desert.
Yeah. The people that run this have been in a Macross since like Robotech was cool. So yeah, way back when it was like the only thing. Like,
I don't want to think about that time.
And I was lucky enough to get to pal around with them for pretty much the rest of the time I was in Japan and hear some like old school war stories. Like they were swapping stories from like Anime Expo 95. Like it was really cool and really awesome to get to hang with them. But specifically on that day we met up with a man called Adrian. He is Giant Robo on Twitter. So that's the type of person Adrian is. But he
has to have had that handle since like
forever.
The beginning of Twitter.
But he is one of 4 people who are responsible for not only making the English subtitles for Macross Delta, but are responsible for that like being a thing in the first place. And I got to kind of pick his brain and like get the story out of him of how that happened. I'm going to give you guys the Cliff Notes version because it was like an hour-long thing, which was great. I loved it. But basically through what was called Macross World Convention, then they of course got kind of rapport going with a lot of the creators, because you need guests for your convention, right? So they all live in Japan and have like professional jobs. He was there originally teaching a school for animation of all things, and there's somebody else who's like a professor of like cultural studies, Japanese cultural studies at like Tokyo University or something. I don't remember the university, but so they're all professionals working in Japan who are huge Macross fans. So they got this like back and forth going, and around the time Frontier came out, you know, the people at Big West really took notice and said, wow, there's, you know, even though we can't legally release it, there's this whole contingent of people that are just like rabid, absolute massive fans. So they wanted to give something back, and that's how it happened, more or less. So there's a lot more there. I think at the last Macross World Convention, or Super Dimension Con, rather, Adrian gave a panel on how that happened, and I think he said it's recorded somewhere. So check that out if you want to. It's really, really cool. It's an awesome story, and like, I'm so glad that they went through that, because they went through some serious shit to get that done.
Yeah.
It was really, really neat to do that.
They're probably going to be busy in about 2 years, I would imagine, once those rights become available.
We got a while. That's 2023.
Oh, I thought it was 2020.
Nah, it's 23.
Fuck. That's depressing.
But yeah, that was really awesome. And then the concert.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely wasn't betrayed. Sorry, I'm trying to look at my notes around the mic now. I'm not going to spend too much long talking about it, because actually after day 2, those 4 people that that put together the subs, they actually have their podcast called the Speaker Podcast, which is part of a Deculture Shock. If you want to hear about the concert in depth, please listen to that.
We'll put a link to it in the description on
that
YouTube
was really cool.
and on the iTunes.
Yeah, that was really cool, because we had a bunch of people that all went, and they're all massive fans. We had, I think, altogether like 12 people in a room just going over our thoughts about the concert for a few hours. So please do check out that episode of their show. That was really cool. But just a couple highlights. The girls are so much better than they were before. I saw them last year at the same show, and they really like, well, last year it was like a last ditch effort. They, you know, they thought it was the end. Everybody thought it was the end. And this year they got more professional, I'd say, but they haven't lost that sheen of realism. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Love Live Sunshine and Aqua. It feels manufactured compared to this. There's a lot of raw emotion in Watakire that's just not there for things like Love Live, which is really nice to see. The new songs absolutely killed it. The coolest thing was, at least for me, because our seats were like in the middle, in the arena side, so not on the floor, but they had last year they had little platforms that they stood on and just kind of went in a circle. This year the entire fucking stage moved. Like, there were 2 tracks in the middle. The thing lifted up on hydraulics and went right through the middle, and it had a clear floor. So they would be singing, and it moved slowly and would like stop in the middle. So literally there was not a single bad seat. Everybody
cool.
got to see like really close. It was really, really awesome. And then the special guest was motherfucking Maine showed up, you know, Cheryl Nome from Frontier. And I think I died and was reborn.
That's pretty cool.
I never thought I'd get to, first of all, see Maine. Like, that's crazy. She was a guest at Anime Expo in like 2007, and I figured, well, that's probably it. Probably won't ever get to see her. And I got to see her as a guest, and she came up. You know, she did one of her songs with Juna, which is great because Juna's the new like power singer in Frontier. So it was like handing over the mantle. That happened, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I got to hear Diamond Crevasse sung by, you know, Juna and Maine, because last year when there was guests, they did one song. And then Juna disappears, and Maine comes out and does I think it was Itezuko Rokuchi Don't Be Late, one of her main songs from Frontier, just solo. And the place exploded. Like, at least for day 1, no song was anywhere near as hype as Maine just killing herself. She's just like, look, I've been doing this a lot longer than you Akira girls. I'm going to show you how it's done. Yeah. And she just took
she was a thing before Frontier.
Frontier was her big break.
She's been a long time. So correct me if I'm wrong, but Valkyria is kind of the first time that Macross has ever done like a fully fledged idol group, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Before it's been, I think the closest really has probably been
Fire.
Frontier in terms of like multiple singers.
No, Firebomber is like a rock band.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
But this is the first time that they've ever like actually like put together a idol thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because
so I guess it makes
always-
sense why
yeah.
everything is a little bit more raw. Is I'm sure a lot of it is them feeling it out as they go along.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. They're also a lot more popular this year. Like last year, there were empty seats, and like you didn't hear about the show outside of the show. Like, of course, the people there were excited, but it was like when we were there and Love Live Final was about to happen. Like you could feel it in Akiba. You knew it was the same way with Valkyrie. Like all the shops were like selling merch and
That's
playing
cool.
their music and everything. Like it was permeating everything. They are super popular now. So I hope we get another one.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's always cool when something like that grows outside of the show that it originally came out of,
Yeah,
which is a super interesting thing.
I was talking to somebody later, and he was just saying, yeah, he's used to hearing people talk about Valkyrie now and not even knowing that they're a Macross thing. Like their music is popular. Their music is good. Like outside of idol music, it's just really good music. That was awesome. After the show, I did Uchiage, which is an after party with a bunch of foreigner fans, different group than before. I had no idea there were so many of us there. Like I got an invite through Twitter, somebody I talked to that knew I was there. He's just like, hey, we're doing a Kagai Uchiage at this store. If you can show up at 11. I get there, no less than 40 people.
That's cool.
I'm like, what the? So I get there, make a whole bunch of new friends, like just find a seat, start talking to people about idols. It was really, really interesting. I had no idea. There's a really funny picture of all of us online. Somebody's got a massive Valkyrie flag, like half of us are throwing up the like W sign. It was interesting. I had no idea that was a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess an environment of dystopian oppression for Western Macross fans
Right.
kind of breeds that.
Yeah. Well, those were mostly like idol fans too. Most of them were there. A lot of them, almost all the ones that I spoke to, had no idea like Valkyrie was a thing until Anime Expo. So they went to Anime Expo.
That's
for,
still
for like WUG or
one
or
of the
Cinderella
weirdest, craziest things that has happened at Anime Expo in a long time.
Made a lot of fans.
And it's not something that anybody really talks about being super crazy, but the fact that Anime Expo spent a lot of money to bring two members of an idol group from a show that has not been and will never be for a long time licensed in the United States is crazy to me.
Yeah, I don't understand how that happened, but I mean, it happened with Main and Mamagu too. They were both at
I would not be surprised if whoever, I can't remember, Lantis, I guess, does Anti-Song World Monstery, or at least Lantis and probably a couple other
Flying Dog
organizations.
are the ones that are doing Valkyrie.
I would not be surprised if they negotiated some deal to piggyback Valkyrie off the much more popular internationally idol groups to get them new international fans, and apparently it worked.
Yeah, it worked very well. But the craziest thing was through the group of the old guard, I guess I'll call them. They told me about Macross Night, which is like they do it like every 6 weeks or so. It's imagine Mogra, but just Macross. And it like travels from club to club, and it's like mostly the same people every time, and it's almost entirely Japanese fans except for the contingent of foreigners, which was us this time. So I did that after the concert, and that was one of the most interesting experiences I've had there. Outside of that dude I was talking to on the side of the road earlier that week, because that was, talk about fans. Holy shit. Like, I love Macross. I've been a fan since Frontier, and I consider myself knowledgeable, and like I know the series, I know the music and everything. These people all breathe it. Like, I get there, and over half the crowd is in cosplay. I'd wager half the crowd is in cosplay. Like, as the songs from different series come up, all the people in cosplay from the show that the song is from all get on the stage. They all like mime what the characters are doing in the show without looking at it. They know all the dances from the games. They know everything there is to know about Macross, and it's that from midnight to 6. And
That's
it was
cool.
Yeah, just some of the craziest things I saw there. There was a guy that b-boyed to Information High, the Macross Plus. Was that the opening? I don't even remember.
It's an insert
just a
song.
Yeah,
It's one of
which was weird.
Sharon Apple's songs.
So in the music video for one of the Walkure songs, it actually led up to the second live. It's all the members working out. They're like in a gym getting ready for it. That song pops on. A bunch of people get on the stage and start doing like push-ups and sit-ups and stuff, just like unbidden. Like it just happens naturally. There's a song in Delta called Axia that plays during a pivotal moment where there's this like crazy dogfight between two characters. It's like one of the major climax of the show, and of course two people that are cosplaying get up there and mime a dogfight. Like they've got their pen lights, they're in full costume, they mimic the actual dogfight in the show at the point where like one of them dies and then all the people in the crowd start shouting that character's name. Like everybody's drunk as hell, just having a grand old time. I've never done anything like it. But of course, there being a large contingent of foreigner fans, we all had to get up there during karaoke hour. And there were probably 10, 12 of us, and we all got up there and did a Dynamite Explosion from Macross 7, which was about all we could do that we all knew the lyrics to, because 90% of them are just yelling Dynamite Explosion. God bless Firebomber.
Yeah.
That was awesome. There's some really, really good pictures from that night that I'll have to put in a blog post that I'm sure I will eventually do. But to be able to like hang out with a bunch of crazy ass Japanese fans in this culture that I didn't know existed. I knew Macross existed and I knew that there were obviously fans there in Japan, but I didn't know that a night like that existed and that it was a regular thing, that honestly they go that hard, because there was nobody sober by the end. The most touching thing though was at the end, and they do this every show, they put on the song Do You Remember Love, and everybody, once again unbidden, just gets in a big circle, links arms, and just like sways and sings the song. 5 o'clock in the morning. It's the way they close out, and apparently they do that every time.
That's the only way to do it.
It was really nice.
That's
I was just
cool.
like, oh, this is neat. And then I slept.
All right.
Let's see. What did I do the next day? Next day was like a Tokyo tourism day with Celia and her friend Lauren. That was a lot of fun. Just finally made it to Shibuya. Hadn't made it that trip. Had to go see Hachiko. Then later that night we was that? That's when we did the because that was day 2 of the concert, which I didn't go to, unfortunately. And later that night we did the big podcasts with Speaker Podcasts, which was really neat. Really didn't do too much Sunday. Then Monday, my flight was bumped a day. I was supposed to leave that day, but it got bumped and I stayed an extra day. So I got to catch an early showing of Sayoasa, Mario Okada's new movie.
Now, I've seen a lot of stuff about this on Twitter already.
Man, probably nothing bad either.
No, it's all been...
That's a perfect movie. I cry at movies pretty easily, but normally like the credits roll and I'm done. I was still crying 20 minutes after. Like, it fucked me up. I don't want to spoil too much, but like the general framework of the movie, because the trailer doesn't tell you much, is there's a race of people called the Eorfs that are they're immortal, and one of them gets kidnapped by a king because he wants an immortal heir, like he wants the throne to be forever, and another one like gets caught in the crossfire and is running away and comes across an infant. This girl is like, I think she's actually 10 at the time that this happens. And she decides to take in this infant because it's her reason for living. So it's her being the surrogate mother to this kid. And of course she doesn't age. She's trapped looking like she's like 12 the entire movie. Of course the kid goes through life with the mother figure being like that. And it's really a movie about the hardships of motherhood, which I didn't expect. Everything, paints it as like a high fantasy war type thing. And then I got that. And knowing what I know about Mario Okada's life, particularly like how much difficulty she has dealing with her mother, like it struck an even deeper chord. I don't want to give out any more of the movie than that. Just when it comes here, and it definitely will, make sure you see it. That's going to be like anime movie of the year, like really easy. And I say that knowing it's March.
Yeah.
Like that was fantastic
hopefully
film.
It gets here this year.
It was also Mario Okada's directorial debut. She
directed it.
Yeah, she directed the whole thing. And it's funny because to me it felt less Mario Okada than like her normal screenwriting things. I don't know if that's because it was more spread out or maybe because she was able to give such a coherent, solid, holistic vision that it didn't feel like she needed to, I don't know, like try so hard with the script or whatever. I don't know, but it was brilliant. Like the lighting was on spot, the storyboards were great, the layouts. PA Works.
All right.
It was, it looked good, felt good, just fan-fucking-tastic movie all around.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, look forward to that. Hopefully this year. God, I hope it's this year. Please, somebody make this shit move faster with movies.
That was...
Please.
Yeah, that was pretty much it for my trip. Went to a deep dish pizza place that was actually fucking delicious. It was called Devil Craft. It's in Hamamatsucho, and they actually had really good Japanese craft beer there too.
Damn.
Yeah, I did that with the old guard, and then wound up doing karaoke with them until about like 3:30 in the morning for my last day. That was
cool.
A fantastic send off. I'm really, really glad I got to meet these people. I had such a fantastic time with them, and I'm lucky enough to like consider myself having made some like really awesome new friends.
We are going to try to have them on the podcast at some point. At least,
yes.
I hope we do.
Yes.
They sound like very interesting people to talk to.
For sure. There are no ends to the stories they can tell.
Yeah. All right. Well,
that was my Japan trip.
Well, while you were gone, I was busy putting off a lot of stuff, but I'm balls deep in a video that I have been promising for a very long time, and I think shall be done the week that this podcast comes out. It's the Yoko Kanno Creator Spotlight, and that's not an announcement or anything because I put a poll up like probably literally a month ago now. Easily the most massive undertaking I have ever agreed to do, but it'll be worth the final product, I think. So that's basically the entire that and finally finishing Kids on the Slope is the two things that I've done while you've gone. And
oh man, that one's been a long time in the making too, huh?
Yeah,
pretty good show.
I started watching it probably 2 years ago and just kind of fell off and never ended up finishing it. And I got the Blu-ray the other day and started watching it. Didn't stop watching it. Finished it.
I have a feeling that's going to happen to me when I receive my flip flappers. It's in the mail.
Yeah. I also, the reason why I ordered that is because I also was ordering a show called Terror in Resonance because I wanted to see, I have not seen any of that show since it came out in probably 4 years ago now. And it always meant to buy the Blu-ray because they had a couple production hiccups that I wanted to see if they would fix on the Blu-ray. I'm also very interested to see if that show is better in English than it was in Japanese, and so far I can tell you that it is.
That's not surprising considering like the part that I felt like it turned bad was when they started trying to speak English.
Yeah. But the English dub is surprisingly good for a modern Funimation dub. So far, I think I'm 3 episodes in. Particularly Shibazaki's voice, the detective, is very good. But it's good. It's exactly like something that you would see on like Adult Swim, any other Shinichiro Watanabe vehicle that you would see on Adult Swim. But I'm excited to get to where they introduce 5 because that is where the English starts coming in and made the show a lot worse, in my opinion. And so I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see whether or not the production hiccups were fixed. But yeah, this Yoko Kanno video has been devastatingly damaging to my productivity, mostly because A, it's the only thing I've been doing for the past week, and also B, every new show that I get to that I have to organize for this video just makes me fucking want to go watch the show again.
That's Yoko Kanno for you.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also just like all the shit that she's worked on. Yeah. Not only has good music, but it's also all very fucking good.
Yeah, like, she only signs on to good things, or maybe she makes things that she signs on to good. I don't know. It's
both. I mean, everything that she's worked on, she has made 100 times better. Just her being there, contributing to the music, but also she just knows how to work with good shit.
That's true. Well, it takes a little bit of know-how.
Yeah. So speaking of anime, that's the thing that's happening right now. There's a lot of it.
Fucking Kenji Kawai scored Sayuasa.
That's cool.
Yeah. I was listening to
What a weird staff list.
I'm sorry to like come back and do that.
No,
I just completely forgot. Yeah.
That's cool.
So I was listening to it. I'm like, that sounds like Kenji Kawai. And then the credits roll. I'm like, That was motherfucking Kenji Kawai.
That's Kenji motherfucking Kawai, baby.
Yeah. Sorry.
Middle name motherfucking.
Yep.
Anyways, anime is a thing that's happening right now. We should probably talk about that a little bit before we before we end the podcast.
What is anime?
So shockingly, even though you just got back from Japan, you were actually caught up on pretty much everything.
Yeah, that's because, as is also tradition, I chugged champagne from bottles along with other Japanese people at Macross night. And so I was bedridden for 2 days after I got home.
That's what happens.
Great time to watch anime.
Yep.
I regret nothing.
All right. So let's just go down the list. You were caught up on Violet Evergarden. I am not. I think I'm on episode 4.
Real quick, thoughts on Violet Evergarden. Of course, I was looking forward to it. We talked about that. No reason not to look forward to it. I was lukewarm on the first couple of episodes.
Same. I don't feel super strongly about what I've seen so far.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, it was good, but it felt like it was trying too hard, which I feel bad saying because they tried really hard and it's obvious.
It does feel like it is someone trying to do a Kyoani show.
Yeah, well,
stereotypically so.
I felt like it was missing all the emotional marks it was aiming for too, but somewhere along the way, I felt like they corrected their aim and started hitting them bullseye. I think the last 3 episodes, I think 6, 7, 8, like they all destroyed me. Like it's really good, and 8 finally gets to like her backstory instead of being a one-off. So you get some like real good development there, and you start to learn a little bit more about her and Gilbert.
Cool.
Very, very good stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to wait and just watch it whenever it comes out on Netflix. It's just like all the other methods that I could be using to watch it are just too big of a hassle for me right now. So I'm just going to wait. I also like it's not I don't have FOMO on it because not a whole lot of people are really talking about it.
Nope.
Not surprisingly. Second season of Overlord has finally moved past lizard people.
I'm actually a little bit behind on that. I forgot to catch up.
Whoops. So yeah, they're not dealing with lizard people anymore. It's sort of most of it is dealing with Sebas, who is the butler.
Mm-hmm.
And he lives in like the capital doing something.
I saw the first episode.
Yeah, I don't know what his function is there. I think he's just like kind of their man in the field.
Yeah, I think he's just keeping tabs on everybody, and he picked up the girl. Right?
Yeah, they're introducing a lot of new characters. This last episode has started. These last 2 episodes, but really the last episode has started to follow a new character who is basically like a sort of young bodyguard of one of the like noble ladies of the capital, who is involved with the royal family somehow. I don't really know the lineage, but and him and the like depressed swordsman that survived the fight with the psycho.
Oh, they met up
from they both. Sebas basically does something in public and beats up a bunch of guys and is like valorous because he's awesome. And I love him. He's a great character. But anyways, I'm gonna just call him the kid. I don't know his name, but the like bodyguard sees him and like follows him and is like, "Can you please train me?" And he basically does this thing where he was just like, "All right, I'm going to do a thing right now that is either going to kill you or you're not going to fear death anymore."
The kid's like main trait is that he's hardy. Like,
yeah.
That's why he's strong, because he can take a beating.
He does. Yeah. So basically Sebas like does everything but kill him, and the kid like survives it. So he's just like, "All right, you're not afraid of death anymore. Like you're good." But then the swordsman guy like sees them from around the corner and like joins up, and then they get attacked by assassins. And now like the ending of the last episode is like they're going to basically kill the guy that runs the prostitution ring.
Yeah, I think I saw the episode before that, because the last thing I remember seeing was Sebas being called a traitor by the other lady in the house.
But this season is really strange in a way that I am so far enjoying, but I could see
it's all world building.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see how it could turn some people off, especially people that were expecting something similar to what we got in the first season. Because in the first season, you almost exclusively follow Momonga, who is the main character of the show. So obviously, you'd follow him. But in this season, he has had maybe 2 or 3 episodes where he's actually appeared, and the rest of them have been either his lackeys or just completely different new characters. So yeah, obviously it's a lot of world building. I'm excited to see where they go with it. But yeah, it's like fucking all over the place right now, because like the first half of the season so far has like been lizard people. And now it's all focusing on some random lackey that you barely saw in the first season. So it's interesting. It's doing that cool thing that shows with giant ensemble casts do, of everyone gets their own arc. So I'm excited to see where
basically
they
Game
go
of
with it.
Thrones.
But it's still intensely interesting. Like, I usually fucking hate fantasy anime.
No, I've
and
enjoyed it.
is-
And last episode, I was worried about that the lizard people, and I went back and watched it myself, and I was like, oh no, this is still really good.
It's fantastic.
I should not have doubted Overlord.
I had a lot of doubts about lizard people just because I hate lizard people. I don't care about them, and I
Normally
think they're
you
gross.
fucking hate lizard people, but when it's lizard people fucking, never forget.
They knew how to get me. But yeah, no, it's been really great so far for a dumb isekai show, or a show that could be a dumb isekai show, but is now a lot more than that.
I've enjoyed the episodes that I watched, and Sebas is really cool.
Sebas is a cool dude.
I do like the like punky the punky bodyguard guy, but more than him, I like the noble woman that he serves.
Yeah,
she's got this prissy, stupid blonde thing going for her that everybody thinks she doesn't know what she's doing, and then it turns out she's like actively working to dismantle the big like underground bosses.
Sex trade. Yeah,
and she's a badass about it.
Yeah. I also like this weird thread that they keep following of this idea that humans are among the least powerful of the races in this world. And there's like that really brutal scene where the kid has this like very inspiring fight with like the head of the army, and he's like walking away, and some other dude is talking to the head of the army, and the head of the army is just, or the other guy's like, do you think he's ever going to get stronger? And the head of the army is just like, no fucking way. He's a weakling, but he'll learn to survive if he knows what's good for him, and something like that. I'm just like, damn, that's like hardcore, brutal.
It was real as fuck.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I'm just going down the list here. Let's get it out of the way. Let's talk about Darling in the Franxx.
I'm glad everybody stuck with it because a lot of people weren't sold. I liked it from the beginning. I'm still really enjoying it. I don't have a lot to say about it.
I did not have a lot
it.
great to say about the show in the last episode that we did. I will say that my attitude towards it has gone from like actively disliking it to just like amused bewilderment most of the time.
Dude, the last episode was so much fun.
The last two episodes were fun, but I don't know. Part of me is really confused because this is a 26 episode series, and there's a lot of very creative people working on these episodes, and they both have important things that happen in them, but they only happen in like the last like 2 or 3 minutes of each episode, and the rest of it is just filler. And I'm like, guys, this is a 26 episode show. This is not Naruto. We don't need to be doing filler. We can be doing, like there are episodes that I've seen, like episode 5, an incredibly well-directed, centered, concentrated, dramatic episodes that sets up a lot of tension and character moments. And like we've had that in the last 2 episodes, but they've mostly just been goofy, which I think that the biggest thing for me about the show that I don't understand is that the tone is just all over the place.
It's funny you say that because for me it's the opposite. I like that. I think probably because when I started watching anime, 26 episodes was the norm as opposed to 13. It was kind of flipped. And I think the change of pace is a time for the viewer to like the characters more, see them in a more relaxed, habitat. Like you don't need big changes or big things to happen every episode when you have more room to breathe. And I like the characters taking time to expand. It was literally like the beach episode was a day off for the characters. It was almost a day off for the viewer as well. While we still did get some important character revelations, especially with Ichigo kind of coming to terms with how she needs to be with Hiro, and with the newest one with 02 becoming more human by being in their fight. I like the change of pace and the change of tone.
I don't think it. I just think it doesn't have, like, I feel like the episodes are jumbled. Like they put them in a like a salad tosser and just like did this. Like the tone does not feel natural from episode to episode. It feels like, it literally feels like exactly what's happening is that they're giving complete control of each episode to a completely different person, either outside of the staff or on it. And they're doing their own things with it, and that's fantastic. But
that works a lot better for something like Space Dandy than Darling in the Franxx.
Yeah, Darling in the Franxx is...
I can see that. You feel like it kind of lost its holistic view.
I don't think it ever had one in the first place. Like, even from episode 1, the tone has gradually ramped up in how crazy it goes from episode to episode, because if you think about from episode 5 until now, we had 5 is probably the darkest and most dramatic episode, and it's like directed in a very artistic way. Then you go right into episode 6, just a full-on old school Gainax trigger bombastic action episode. 7 is a beach episode. 8 is a comedy episode.
Yeah, the beach episode made me laugh because there was this old joke, and I want to say it started with Excel Saga. It might be older than that, where it's literally episode 7 is the beach episode. This is when ratings start to flag. Give them some service. So I felt like it was really
Which is
a throwback
crazy.
to the 90s anime style.
Yeah, because the episode before that was, in my opinion, the best episode by a huge margin. And I know a lot of people...
It was the Evangelion episode.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was Evangelion and the Gurren Lagann and the all Gainax mecha rolled up into one. I mean, it's exactly what I've been waiting for from the show, and the thing that I am going to be wanting from this show, basically, because
I'm along for the ride.
I mean, I'm gonna watch the entire show. It's just I hope at some point there is a little bit of concentration, because it's jarring, not like going into an episode and like having it be equal chances like Consequential, or like, you know, an episode where they literally split their living quarters in half, which is like, when's the last fucking time that's been done? Like outside of a 90s sitcom. Like,
I really enjoyed the episode. I thought it was great.
It had some moments. I like the whole 02 panty raid thing. Yeah, that was cute.
Funny because I was like, what is she getting at? Because she doesn't give a flying shit about any of the other girls. Why is she playing nice with them? Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
She just wants to stir the pot. I thought that was a lot of fun. It was an interesting bit of characterization.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time that I think we start to see a little bit of a not completely antagonistic relationship between the rest of the girls in 02 start to form, which is good, because I was starting to get a little tired of the idea that 02 was just not going to get along with everybody. Yeah. But
I kind of like what her and Ichigo have going.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
I liked it
always
more before she like cornered her in the beach episode. I thought that was weird and mean.
Yeah, yeah, it's that's just another thing that I feel like it's just I think that Nishigori might be giving a little bit too much creative control to the episode directors, because even like 02's characterization between the beach episode and the last episode, it's like, in the beach episode, a lot of the shit that she was doing, she felt very detached and very like mean, like you said, like cruel in certain aspects. And then in this episode, it was very playful. It was very like trying to become attached. And I know that like that, you know, some people could be like, well, that's character development, but I don't know if that's.
It depends on if they stick with it. Yeah. Going forward.
We'll
see. I'm excited to see what comes. I mean, we're a quarter of the way through the series.
Yeah. More. The two things I mean, obviously I'm going to want more robots, and I'm never going to have enough robots from this show, because it's very clear that it's more about the characters than the robots. But also, I just want more world building, because this world seems interesting and they haven't done enough.
Yeah, that was. I see my problems with the beach episode were more like you've made a point of like showing this barren world. In fact, in the first episode, in like the very beginning, 02 is just like, I want to like go to a beach, and they make a point of saying, well, shit, son, there aren't any.
Yeah.
And then we've got this conveniently here for a beach episode. I thought that was a bit much.
It does feel, well, here's the other thing too. There's a part in the beach episode where one of the boys is like, well, I've never heard the word kiss before, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you literally just heard it in the,
kissing.
you hear it every day. Kissingu. You hear it every day.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, that's.
Well, there's that. Well, while we're on that, there's also like this last episode for characters that are like, as a plot device, supposed to be completely sexually unaware. That was a very sexually charged episode.
Yeah.
I guess, I mean, they called it puberty. Maybe I didn't get the idea that they were all prepubescent before and now suddenly they aren't. But that's weird. I don't know if that's a plot point or just shitty writing because they wanted to make a funny fan service Battle of the Sexes episode.
Yeah. I just, I can appreciate a show that can do both if it's justified, but the first 5 or 6 episodes of the show are so painfully serious that having them all of a sudden jump to 2 basically comedy episodes in a row now just feels very, like, it doesn't feel earned. And I feel like the thing that I would have loved, and the thing which I think would have justified a lot more the beach episode and the thing after it, was a post-battle, post-mortem episode after episode 6. Because there was no wind down. It was literally like the most climactic battle we've seen so far, and then a beach episode.
we got like a 20-second line of Ichigo explaining,
and that was
hey,
what I was
they gave us
fully
a break.
explaining. Like I wanted to see the scenes of them. Like I want like the scene of Strelizia like being wheeled back into the hangar, still like steaming and covered in blue shit.
Yeah.
I want them getting taken out and debriefed and all that, and I want like some good lore and world building and stuff like that. That's something that I can sink my teeth into, instead of stuff that I feel like is them like biting for time, which they don't need to. It's only 26 episodes. Like I know 26 episodes is longer than what we usually get for anime nowadays, but it's still not that long. Like trust me, I just finished watching Eureka 7, and if you want to talk about filler, there's plenty of places for filler in a 54 episode show. So I don't know.
See.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens, if anything. Hopefully,
I'm sure it'll go somewhere.
20 more beach episodes.
I'd be down.
Your
2 swimsuit is real cute.
Yeah. Citrus is still a bad show.
I still
It's
haven't
bad
watched it.
and it's trash, and I'm gonna watch it until the very end because I hate myself.
Enjoy.
Yeah, they just introduced a character that makes all the abusive shit that has happened. So I mean, she's basically Yandere. Like that's the best way I can put it. Yandere short of the murder. Yeah, she's just a bad. She's bad, and that show is bad. And I don't know why I'm watching it, but there ain't any other Yuri shows on TV right now, so that's that. I saw have you seen any Fate Extra?
No.
Okay. I saw the first 2 episodes.
I've seen ads for it.
It seems like a very
I've played the game.
it seems like a show that you would literally only like if you've played the game.
Hey, I've played the game, and I happen to really like Sakura Tange as Umu.
It is a good Umu. I will say that.
That's all I need.
Shaft animating a Fate series is okay. It looks like a Shaft show, but not enough like a Shaft show that I want. It doesn't look weird enough.
I'm sorry. This is tangential. This is vaguely related. Have you seen the thing going around where somebody is asked to describe Fate for somebody?
And it's Hamilton for people that like hentai. Yeah.
Yep. God, I love that.
Terrible description because it's
awful, but it makes me laugh.
Yeah, it's funny. It's
vaguely
it also
historical.
Makes absolutely no sense.
It's vaguely historical.
There's no music in. There's no musical numbers in Fate, and there's actually not a whole lot of really
There's
even like
a little
ecchi
bit of history
related
in
stuff in mainline Fate properties. I guess if you're talking about like visual novel, yeah. I'm talking about like Fate Now. They have very effectively
I don't know, man.
separated the two,
thirsty.
like a hungry mollusk separating from its shell.
How you worked a mollusk in there?
Yeah, I always am gonna work a mollusk in there. You have not caught up on After the Rain, but you should because it's good.
I'm planning on it.
That's
an Amazon one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Caught up on B-List.
I mean, I'm not.
Yeah.
Probably won't be. But yeah, weirdly enough, they have started to inject a certain amount of like Japanese classical literature. Like they talk a lot about Rashomon in the last episode.
Interesting.
Yeah, because
is that like one of the few things they have in common or something?
The boss really likes classical Japanese literature, so
Okay.
he talks a lot about Akutagawa and Osamu Dazai and all those guys, all the Bungo Stray Dogs characters basically. She has to write a book report on Rashomon and wants to know more about him. So like they meet each other at a library, and then he helps her like give an answer on a book report.
That's pretty cute.
Pretty cute scene, yeah. Still the show handling what is a very bad real life like relationship pretty well, or like pretty tastefully, about as tastefully as you possibly can. Be interesting to see where that goes. You got anything to say about Takagi-san? I have stopped watching that.
I'm still really enjoying it, and also wish to be teased. It's more of the same. If it wasn't doing it for you, it wasn't doing for you. If it was, then
it's not that it wasn't doing it for me. It's just time constraints.
It's the same thing over and over. I really enjoy it.
All right. Well, we have basically the 3 shows of the season right here lined up.
You want to talk about how alright the girls are?
Those girls.
They're
Those goddamn girls.
So alright.
Antarctica girls.
God, I think, okay, so you're completely caught up, right?
Yes.
I think one of my favorite scenes of characterization I've seen in anime is when they step off the thing.
Yep.
And she,
Yep.
I'm referring her name. It's just like, I showed all of you. Fuck off. And she's
Yeah.
like, really? That's your thing? And she's like, yeah.
In your
And then
face.
repeats it in your face. Was it Zamamiro?
Yeah.
I love that so much because that's so
Fantastic.
her. It showed all of her motivation, and like it's a fucking real motivation.
Yeah.
And it was just
It's
a great
fantastic moment. Yeah. It's that show is still very
I think that's
good.
my show this season so far.
It's close
It's
to
the
number
one I
for
look
me.
forward to the most, no question. Like I always watch it during lunch at work because I need to know what happens. That it hits all the emotional notes that I like. The characters are amazing. It looks good.
Well, it's most of the people that made Love Live, so
there you
not
go.
surprising that it's good and is about girls and good girls. Although I think these girls are like way better characterized than anyone in Love Live ever was.
Definitely. Well, they aren't
And that's not me.
caricatures.
Yeah, that's not me shitting
They're-
on Love Live. These are like
No.
real. This
Love
is
Live
like
girls are caricatures. These
Yeah.
are characters.
yeah. Yeah. No, it's very good.
Yeah, I love the show so much. The supporting cast is also really good. Obviously, the 4 girls are good, but all the adults in the show are great. Even the like silly love subplot was really cute and funny.
Well,
in a good way to like reintroduce Toto.
The
as
more
well.
that they the more that they reveal about her mom and the like whole backstory behind that, the more they are definitely setting up for some serious tragedy. And I'm
coming.
very excited to see where that goes because everything that they've teased so far
Yeah, it's
has
gonna get
been
dark.
really fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's right
Like,
there.
really fucked
We're
up
on the
and
cusp
sad.
of it every episode.
Yeah.
I also love that every episode has had a new insert song.
Yeah.
Like they're killing it with the music. They're going for some album
sure are.
sales.
Well, I mean, again, the guy that did Love Live's music is doing
Merchandising.
this. So, yeah, no, this is going to make some money, hopefully.
it's selling well from my understanding, which is
Good.
good. I love seeing
It should.
shows like this that are, one, it's an original, so I'm already halfway to. 2, it's well done. That's all I got.
All right.
I like when good things do good.
It's original and well done, and that's really, I mean,
That's all I
that's
need.
2 massive pluses in its favor.
That's all I really need from an anime.
So Record of Grand Crest War
Yeah.
is, I honestly, that might be my number 1 at least right
That
now.
is so surprising coming from you. I love
I
it.
know.
But I knew going into it I would because this is
But
totally
it is-
capital letters my shit.
Yeah, it is it is exactly the type of medieval fantasy anime that I would actually like, and it's not bogged down in its, magical universe building and
I love that shit too.
it's I mean that's fun. I mean but I have Overlord for that shit. Like all the
Yeah.
different weird races and shit. This is all just about people fucking stabbing each other in the back and
Yep.
fighting and
the politicking in the show is really
it's
good.
fan-fucking-tastic. And when they do go into like weird metaphysical shit, it's really good. Like the stuff with the between the vampires and the werewolves.
That was
and
really
that
neat.
whole
That was
thing.
cool side.
That's awesome.
It
But
feels like the show's moving really fast, and I understand from novel readers that they say the same. But like it's not too fast that I can't. That I don't
yeah.
feel like it's in control. It's just like I know it could be fleshed out more.
yeah, I mean, if it was a 26 episode show, I think probably
I thought it was.
Is it?
Yeah, it's 2 cores, dude.
Oh shit, good. Well then there you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, the fact that
Even
it's
more
moving at this
content.
clip with 2 cores is
Yeah.
incredible. You should check out Record of Lodos War when you got some time then. 'Cause
Yeah, no,
it's
I mean
more the same.
it is the medieval fantasy anime. Yeah, I mean I knew it had a pretty serious pedigree with being a spiritual successor to Lodos War. So obviously there's a lot of good coming from that. The best thing I could possibly say about this show, and I was telling you about this off air, but and this is a spoiler. So stop listening now if you don't want to get spoiled. But I mean, you see it coming from a mile away. But Teo and Saluka actually like not consummate, but make real and tangible their love for one another, which is
That is
something
nice.
that literally any other anime of this caliber or of this genre would not do. It's something that's so rare in anime that aren't explicitly romance nowadays that feels so fucking refreshing to see the two main characters that are clearly in love with each other kiss and acknowledge their love for one another.
It's nice that it was like a steady progression too. Like they didn't start out that way. It wasn't like love at first sight. Like they built a relationship and then it became like obvious because in the previous episode, Alexis was talking and he said, I think it's great that you would throw away everything for your loved one. And like neither of them reacted. They didn't deny it. They just kind of like let it go. And then the next episode.
I mean, Teo literally sits there with Tsuruka next to him and is just like, oh, yeah. I gave up my court and rank immediately because she is the one thing that I care about more than anything else. But that still can be interpreted so many different ways. And usually what that means in anime is just like, oh, she's a trusted confidant. She's somebody that I want to protect. Clearly I'm in love with her, but I'll never acknowledge it because, I'm a man and I've got so much more important things to do. But this show has its very important things. It has its grandiose world building and its politicking across nations and states. And it also is not afraid to have like a very wonderful, intimate moment in like a tree stump inside of a tree while it's raining, which is the best fucking romantic setup ever, by the way. It's perfect. It's the tropiest trope of all time, but it's the fucking best one.
Tropes exist for a reason.
It's the best one there is. And they did it and they nailed it. And that is the poweriest power couple in the world. And I fucking love it.
Lodos were span generations.
Yeah.
So we got 20-something episodes.
Yeah. We could see some shit. Happen. Yeah, so the show has taken a pretty interesting direction recently, and one that I don't know if it's just like, so basically what has happened in sort of these between arcs is what is the main lord's name? I can't remember his name. There's so many names.
Not Cornero, shit. Artuk, the Earl of Artuk?
No. That's
the one that he's serving under. Teo?
Is it Artuk?
The Earl of Artuk is the name of the person that he's serving under.
Yeah, him. So him and his vassals have basically like they want to get to this summit, and to get there they basically have to like conquer multiple like nation states that belong to like the opposite faction to which they belong to. So they like power through. It's this really like triumphant series of moments where like Teo is able to like convince an entire nation to just like kind of join up just based on the fact that he doesn't want to get anybody killed. And then the other lord just fucking murders their leader because that's what he's good at.
Nice. Yes, it
was really cool. It was just like, well, they both did what they're good at.
Yeah.
And they get to this summit, and Artuk is like basically set up to be the next leader of the Union, taking the place of Alexis, who is a new character that they introduced in the past couple episodes. And he backs down because he doesn't like the thought of his grandfather is basically like the last emperor.
Yeah, before the Union and Alliance split up.
Yeah, he's the last emperor, and Artuk is like basically the next setup to be the next leader of the Union, and the other grandchild, Marina, I think, is the leader of the Alliance. And so I guess Artuk stands down from the leadership position because he doesn't like the idea. He doesn't think his grandfather would like the idea of his grandchildren like leading wars against each other. But then basically he does that at the expense of like literally the possibility of him and everyone he loves being killed. And I don't know what his game is. I want to think that he has a game.
They've done nothing but show that he's savvy as fuck.
Yeah, it's just weird because like there's that scene in the last episode before they get like Teo and Tsuruka gets sent home. Tsuruka like speaks out, and they all are just like, "Shut the fuck up," and like go home. And I'm just like, what is happening here? And like he seems like super like weird and apathetic about everything right now. So I don't know what's going on, or if he's just like caught a big mood. Like I don't know. But I'm excited to see what happens. But also, I kind of don't really give a fuck about anything now because my son and daughter,
your ship is
not
sailing.
Literally, but yeah, the ship has finally set sail. The most powerful ship on Earth. The other cool thing that they introduced was they finally allowed Teo to meet the leader of his homeland. That shitty.
And he immediately tried to assassinate.
Yep, and then he got expelled from the Union.
Yep.
And now I think that
Zamamura.
I'm hoping that is the next step, because I remember
They could
Sluka
not.
saying he gets expelled from the union and then we make our move.
Yeah, I cannot imagine them designing a more smarmy looking fucker.
Oh, he's a piece of
He
shit.
looks like a little rat.
Oh,
he's
the
like, he reminds
fucking-
me of fucking like Peter Pettigrew, but a lord.
Yeah. No, he literally like arched back,
Yeah.
buck teeth. He's the fucking worst. I hope he gets a sword through his face.
I'm sure.
But
or
yeah,
a fist.
if you're not watching Grand Crest Senki or Record of Grand Crest 4, watch that shit. Especially if you like Arslan Senki, watch it. It's good. It's a good medieval anime that is very different from most medieval fantasy shows that you see nowadays. A lot more not very light novel, which is a big plus. And then the other basically top 3 show this season, Eurocamp. Camp.
I'm actually like 2 behind on that
Oh,
one.
it's so good. It's so
very
good. It's
so
the best.
Iyashike.
It's another show that I
tell you
am
what, though,
never unhappy to watch. It's so good.
the opening is already my opening of the season.
Yeah.
Spoiler. I listen to it on loop regularly. I never do that with
You mean the
music.
Jackson
I put
5 opening?
yeah. Yo, I felt so validated. I made a shitty tweet like weeks ago saying this is just a Jackson 5 song, and when I was at Mogra for Anizong Index, they ended by playing a Japanese cover of I Want You Back and then mashing it into Shiny Days, and I was just like, thank you.
Yeah.
It ain't just
it
me.
needed to happen. Really.
It ain't just me.
It's a good show.
Yeah,
It's a
there's
really
not ton to
fucking
talk
good show.
about.
It's immaculate. It's the best that Slice of Life could possibly be. It's
I'm glad it's like halfway a food show now too.
yeah.
Like it's not just camping; it's camping and food.
Weirdly enough,
It makes me want some stew.
it makes me want to go camping. Honestly, like all this like comfy winter camping. Like fuck, man.
If we weren't in Florida,
Yeah, I sure wish we did not live in Florida. That's the only. It's really the only thing.
there's the rub.
All this shit trying to kill us that is not holding a gun, and then that too. Speaking of cooking shows, the 3rd episode of Food Stay Night, aka Fate Stayed for
I
Dinner,
haven't seen that.
came out. It's real cute. It's the Japanese like doll festival. I can't remember what it's
Hinamatsuri.
called. Yeah, Hinamatsuri. It's really cute. They like surprise Ilya with like they dress her up and then they bring her over and it's like a little doll festival. It's really sweet. Ryder's there.
Yes.
Fucking God, wearing a mom jeans, being the best mom. She says like 2 words, and I'm just
Doesn't
like
matter.
head over fucking heels with it. It's perfect. Reen also is, I think, there for like consequentially for the first time. Basically, the whole gang except for Lancer, and Shinji. Thank God he's not there. I fucking hate Shinji so much.
That
It's
Moto
a
fucker.
fantastic thing. I still can't believe it's a real thing that's actually happening.
It came out of nowhere too. It wasn't even announced. They just aired it on
it's
New Year's.
just a thing, and it's so good. It's so good. Like it's and it
warm.
feels so natural. Like it's so strange.
It's a great
Like,
thing about those characters. Like you can put them anywhere, and the character dynamics write themselves.
Saber is so goddamn adorable in that show. Like there's like there's a scene where they're all just kind of sitting around waiting for Ilya to get there, and Shiro's like, all right, well, I guess I'll start cooking. And then Ryder is just like, all right, well, I'll help go do this thing. And then Saber just like, kind of looks around. And then the next shot is just her and Seiza on the pillow with like a cup of tea. And she's just like, and I'll be prepared to act. Or something like that. And I'm like, oh, this is so cute.
Oh, Saber.
And then like she's just like so eager to like do stuff in that show. It's very cute because like very often I think Shiro just like does everything and he kind of just doesn't really want her to do anything. So she's just like kind of like sitting there. And so like they go outside and he's just like, all right, Saber, why don't you go get Ilya? And she's just like salutes and then just like kind of jogs off. It's so cute and perfect. And I cannot wait for every bit of it. to
Saber
be
is
out.
good. There's a reason she's been like the anime world's darling since 2004.
She's fucking fantastic. She will never reach her zenith. She will always get more popular. It's just how it is. I assume that Cardcaptor Sakura is still Cardcaptor Sakura.
Yeah, they actually this weekend's episode was really nice because it was a throwback in a lot of ways. One of the most popular episodes of the original is the water episode at the aquarium because water is like one of the main cards. It's a big deal. and they had a new card at the aquarium, and like the way they snuck in was the same. They even drew the guard like guarding it. It's the same person, aged a little.
Oh, that's cute.
And just like really, it was a good throwback episode. Like the music they used was the same even, and it's still like I think I said on an episode prior that they wanted to make Sakura for a new generation because the previous generation grew up with it. They're really doing that. Like the mood of the show is completely untouched. The atmosphere is exactly the same. It feels like I'm watching an extension of the original, which is all I ever wanted.
That's great. Yeah, that's really all you can ever want from a sequel to something that is 20 years old. Yeah.
It's really fantastic. Missing out if you ain't watching it. It's a good mental recharge every week.
They finally adapted Tomie in Junji Ito collection, which means I can finally drop that show. They
so
probably
one episode, or?
It was just half. They do half of an episode per story because it's all.
Isn't Tomie pretty long though?
Well, so Tomie it's collected into one giant volume, but Tomie more than Uzumaki and more than Gyo. Well, way more than Gyo, because Gyo is literally one long continuous story, and Uzumaki is a little bit more connected. But Tomie is literally something that Ito drew from like 88. It was the first comic that he ever did, and then he finished it in like 2005. Yeah. And they're all just long, unconnected stories. Oh. I think maybe there are like some 2 or 3 chapter long arcs there, but for the most part, they're just all like one shots.
Gotcha.
And the only thing that's constant in them is Tomie and like the shit that she does and like how fucked up she is. But they adapted the story called Painter, which is to me one of the worst ones that they could have adapted. Naturally. Because it features like her as a character the least in terms of showing what she does to other people and like what her deal is. Because if you don't know, Tomie, the whole premise of it is that she's like the most beautiful girl you've ever seen, and all men, like basically she has a power that like to make them instantly fall in love with her to the point where they get so crazy that they end up murdering her. And when they murder her, like she basically can grow out of like any piece of the original's body. So if you like chop her up into 4 pieces, then 4 Tomies grow out of those pieces. And like the episode like shows that a little bit, like it ends with her murder, obviously, because all of them do, but it is easily the least good for showing like how crazy and fucked up and awful and terrifying her like shit is. It's just very much like a very straightforward thing, like where like, this girl, she drives people insane and makes people murder her, and then at the very end it's just like, oh, by the way, she can grow out of her old limbs, and then the story ends.
Seems like the whole Junji Ito collection has been
it's fucking awful. It's a goddamn travesty.
As soon as it's done, we can go ahead and forget it ever happened, like we do with most Studio Dean anime.
Yeah, basically anything that's not Shogen Rokurakugo Shinju, like that's it.
Higurashi
basically.
Was good too. Yeah.
Yeah, was Dean?
I'm like 98%.
Man, that looked too good to be a Dean show.
You clearly have not seen Higurashi then.
Higurashi. I thought you said Gakokurashi.
Oh, no, Higurashi.
Okay. No, that looks terrible.
Yeah,
You're right.
I was about to say.
No, that's a bad looking show. Yeah, so don't watch that. It's not worth it. I literally was only seeing it to see the one story that I knew other than Slug Girl. And all of them were terrible. Yep, it was a bad show. Don't watch it.
Yeah. Ryuno Oshigoto is still a really good sports anime. What's awesome about it now is it's become less about the main character and his 2 disciples, and more about like the shogi world as a whole, and how basically the different titles work. But a big focus of it is how difficult it is for women to become a professional in the shogi world. They have like a whole different system they go through, which I'm not even going to begin to get into. But the majority of the characters in the show are women who are trying to break into this world. And you got everybody. Of course, you have his disciples, the kids going in there for the first time, and then you have my favorite character. She's a 26-year-old woman named Keika, who's literally like on her last chance. If she doesn't, win the next few matches, she's screwed. That's it.
Yeah.
And seeing her struggle as an adult while these people next to her are like legitimate prodigies and are catching up to her is a really, really interesting thing, because there aren't very many sports where you can have a 12-year-old playing against a 26-year-old for the same position.
Yeah.
So it's just an interesting character study on top of being like a good like sports anime.
It's funny that you mentioned that exact thing in relation to shogi, because the other shogi anime right now is also tackling something pretty similar. They're having a tournament. They're beginning a new tournament arc between Shimada and I can't remember his name, but he's one of the two old director guys. He's the one that always is helping out the Meijin. And they're having this tournament and basically like doing what that show always does in just fucking absolutely killing it with characterization. Characterizing Shimada, who has never won a tournament, like has never taken home a title in his life. And they keep showing that scene of him getting back home, and there's the banner that says like, good luck, please bring us back a title or a championship or something. And it's like half hanging off and there's no one around because he wasn't able to. Him like basically being like, sorry, old man, like I'm going to knock you on your ass and I'm taking this title because it's been long enough. Versus the old man who's basically like, he's like one of the only people that's still like on the actual circuit, playing professionally, like for money, at his age, because he's like 66 or something like that. And there's like a really long montage of like him like in his 20s all the way up until that age of basically like everyone he's ever known like dropping out of shogi because they're just like not able to make ends meet and stuff, all the way to present day, where like one of the reporters that follows the shogi circuit like basically comes up to him at this event and he's just like, I got to tell you, man, I'm scared. I just got laid off. Like, I don't know what else to do but my work. And he basically is like thinking about it and just like, yeah, me too. Like, I don't really know what I'm going to do. And like, of course, everybody's always asking him like, yo, if you get demoted from rank A, like, are you going to retire? Like you're pushing 70, like all this shit. And he's just like, I can't lose this shit, because if I do, then I lose like basically what makes me a person.
That's scary. That's what it is for people that are professionals in shogi, apparently. And Go is the same way from my understanding. Like, that's their entire life. Everything revolves around not just being a professional, but winning. Yeah. Like, it's fucking cutthroat. Yeah. Crazy ass board games. Goddamn.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's really any individual sport is just, it's literally you or everyone else. And you got to win.
It's crazy.
But yeah, two good shogi shows running at the same time. Who'd have thunk it?
What year is it? Crazy.
Finally, I think, at least one of the finalies, Katana Maidens is still good. It's still a great little action show.
This is another 2-core show, and I'm loving that we have like an organization versus the Origamis now, and I love the backstory.
Oh, it's so good
behind the Aradama and what princess? What do they call that?
I can't remember. It's Kitsune like, or whatever.
Yeah, it's like Yugitsu. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, there's like a known like Aradama entity that has like possessed.
Like the conspiracy goes so
Yukari,
deep,
and like Yukari's sister shows up, and the U.S. Navy is involved with a submarine.
Dude, I live for shit like this.
It's so anime. Like ties back to World War II. Like I'm so about it.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just a fantastic action show. There's great fights every episode, and all the characters are really great and lovable and well fleshed out, and like it's not overly fan service laden. It's like shockingly tasteful for a show that could very much be relying on fan service.
Like 10 years ago, this show, their clothes would be destroyed instead of their, what was it called, like Ofuda? Or whatever.
This is basically like Ikitosen if Ikitosen was tasteful.
Oh man, what a bizarre world that would be.
Yeah, but no, it's great. Everybody's gotten some really great fleshed out stuff, and they're introducing a few more characters with Mokusu, which I think is the organization. Mokusa, and like the
Dr. Friedman.
the underground nature of this like sort of clandestine anti-Aradama infestation like network is starting to be revealed the more you get into it, and it's really great to see like where the dividing lines are.
We're still so early in the show too. Like I feel like Origami Yukari isn't going to be the last boss.
Probably not. I would love to see them bring her back somehow, but it was really ominous when they were asking them like, do you think that there is any part of Origami Yukari that's like still in there? And they were just like, no, she's gone. Like she's been beaten down for 20 fucking years by this thing. Like
it's pretty crazy.
We
could always do a time skip for the second core too, though.
That would be
because
cool.
they already like reintroduced the previous generation, all the principles.
Yeah. Well, and the whole stuff with the two main girls' moms has been really interesting. And like the fact that what's her name goes to like that dream state where she can like train with her young mom.
Yeah.
That's been fantastic.
And doesn't remember anything, but her body does.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Which I'm excited for, because in the next episode, like there's going to be some shit where she like just surprises the hell out of people either during training or whatever. Yeah. I love this show a lot more than I should. A lot more than it has any. It's better than it has any business being.
I love when shows do that.
Yeah, it's easily the most underrated show this season too. There's like nobody talking about it.
No, I hear the people that I expect to talk about shows like this on Twitter talk about it, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I think if it, like, the one thing that this season really is missing is just a dedicated action show, and this is that. Or at least, like, a straightforward, traditional action anime. But in this case, it's all girls, which is always good. Let me see. I'm not watching Sanrio Boys anymore. Sorry, Twitter. I mean, we can always talk about Dame X Prince Anime Caravan. Whatever the fuck that is.
Dame Prince? Oh, that has an anime right now? Really?
Yeah.
That has an anime? No, because Okay. Let me tell you about Dame Prince. I was in Harajuku. Okay.
Right.
And there's this big-ass store. Like, stores in Japan are normally pretty tiny. There's this big thing. I'm trying to, like... It's the size of at least 3 regular stores, and that's just the bottom floor, and it's a Dame Prince store.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I have never heard of this thing. I immediately know it's like an otome thing, whatever. You can tell. All right. And when you go into anywhere in Japan, like a bell rings and there's some greeter there to go, "Irashaimase," just like without fail. I open the door to this place to try to figure out what Dame Prince is, and an entire like 45-second long like introduction from one of the characters starts playing.
No.
With like "Irashai Ojo-sama" or something like that. I don't even remember. But I'm sitting there like, first of all, I get embarrassed because this ain't my place. I ain't supposed to be here. I'm listening to the thing and it's making me laugh at the same time because it's ridiculous. So I just go through, act like I know what I'm doing there, act like I'm a fan, start like looking at the little like key holders, like I'm digging for my character. I don't fucking know. And then somebody else comes in and it's a different line from a different character.
Oh my Christ.
So Dame Prince goes hard. That was in Harajuku.
Jesus Christ. Well, that explains
I had
why that's
forgotten
happening.
about that until you mentioned Dame Prince. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, I guess.
And then I went to the taco shop next door. It was delicious.
All right. I think that's it. You got anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think we can end on Dame Prince.
let's end on the lowest note of the episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep an eye on onoanime.moe. I know you're probably going to have at least one
I'll
other.
write more sometime.
Yeah. As of this podcast's uploading, which will probably be probably 2 days after we're recording this, so probably Tuesday, I'm going to try to have that Yoko Kanno Creator Spotlight video up by the end of this week. Maybe this weekend, depending on how much I can get done, but I'm about 2/3 of the way through it now. I'm through the most meat and potatoes, and now I just gotta get through about 4 other shows. So we'll get there. But that'll be up soon, hopefully, barring any sort of, tragedy, personal or otherwise. But until then, youtube.com/onoanime is the place to be for the majority of our content. I'm not going to tell you to subscribe to our podcast because that's probably how you're already listening to it. But if you're watching on YouTube, we're on iTunes, Stitcher, and Libsyn. If you're listening to the audio version, you can always find the video version on YouTube. And we're on Twitter @onoanime, facebook.com/onoanime. I don't know anybody who looks at our Facebook, but that's there if you want to see it.
Good engagement numbers there for sure.
Fantastic. I am on Twitter @Vermillionaire. The last E is a 3.
I'm at Patrick130M, the most original name ever.
Yeah, follow that for all of our shit posting because we don't really do that on the
I've gotten
on
very
the official
active
account
on Twitter the last couple of weeks.
Same. I'm trying to think if there's anything
email?
else.
Did you do the email?
Yeah, onoanime@gmail.com. Please do not be afraid to email us questions or comments or really anything you want us to talk about on the podcast or otherwise. video ideas, I don't know. We could always use those probably. But
Right.
yeah, go ahead and email us there, and we will address it in some way or another. And I think that is going to do it for us here. Until next time, we will see you later.
Goodbye.